Hello, my name is Brandon Clark. There's no doubt that sometimes in life, with change comes the unexpected. But what if the unexpected was the loss of your sight, hearing, or mobility? Some people in life take certain abilities, like the ones I've just mentioned, for granted. Often when people think of disabilities, they tend to focus on those that are physical. However, there are different categories of disabilities. There are mental disabilities such as Alzheimer's disease, bipolar and obsessive compulsive disorders, as well as developmental disabilities, which include ADD, ADHD, Down syndrome, and dyslexia. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The individuals you're about to meet have dealt with and in fact are still living with some of these challenges. The first individual that you will meet will tell you about her life and how she is dealing with her loss of vision due to glaucoma, and she will explain to you the life challenges that she deals with on a daily basis. Let's take a look.
Okay, my name is Frenchie Randol. I am a vision impaired student here at MATC. I'm formerly in the teaching to education program, and what I want to do after I receive my associate's degree is to work with special needs students to help them achieve their goals just as well as I achieve mine. I'm also a mother of 4 children, 2 girls, 2 boys, and in their education, I watch them struggle a little, so that's my goal, to help other students not to struggle as much as they have or I have. When I was a younger child, at 1.5 years, I had eaten lead out of the walls, which gave me lead poison, which in fact affected my optic nerves of my eye. And as the years went on and I became a teenager, I was told by doctors that possibly because of the lead poison that it would cause me blindness at the age of 16, and it didn't. And as I got older, at the age of 21, I had found out I had glaucoma, which decreased most of the vision because I had built up fluids on the back of my optic nerve in my eye. And therefore, as the years went on, each year the vision decreased. So that's basically how I became to have 15% vision due to lead poison as a child. And in my younger years, I received, well, not received, but I developed that I had glaucoma. Pretty much I lived my life just like anyone else did, everything that everybody else did. Was able to travel on my own more than I do now. At a point, at the age of 19, I did obtain driver's license, but within 6 months after receiving, I couldn't drive anymore because I couldn't see. I was able to shop on my own without assistance. Pretty much I lived an average life as a person with vision did versus now. With my disability, it makes me depend on people more than I did before I started losing my vision. But that's pretty much the only thing, is that I depend on people's vision to help me with things that I can't figure out or things that I can't see on my own. So pretty much it just made me depend a little more on others than I would like to. My disability changed my life in a positive way, in my opinion, it's because it's helping me to educate people who don't know about vision impaired people, who don't understand what it is to be vision impaired, in a positive way to teach them that because I am vision impaired, my life doesn't have to end and it doesn't stop right there, that I can go on and still have a successful career in life. Negative way, it has affected me because the treatment that people give you sometimes and the way that they do you, or things they may say, they think because you can't see them, you can't hear them. That's the only negative aspect of it, and not being able to do what I want when I'm ready on my own. I think I would change, I would like to have had my vision back. That's what I would like to have changed. You know, because I was used to having it, and then not to having it, for it to gradually decrease was a hard adjustment for me at first, but it's a little more easier now. So yes, I would just like to change. I would like more of my vision back, if not all of it. Pretty much I always looked at people with a disability and saying, I wonder what they can do or what do they want to do. And it pretty much inspired me to say, well, you know, just because I have a disability, that doesn't mean that I have to not achieve what I want to do. So never let anybody tell you what you cannot do or what you shouldn't do. If you feel you have the get up and go, the power, the will, then it's your choice to take that and go with it and do what you can do, not what somebody say you can't do.
You know, it's really amazing to see people that have tragedies like that happen to them, yet are still able to pick up the pieces and continue on with their lives. It takes a lot for people in situations like that to be able to keep their independence. When they're used to having something one minute and it's gone the next, they have to learn how to adjust to living their life in a different way. Strong people like Frenchie are able to take such a negative situation and turn it into a positive one by still achieving what they want and never taking no for an answer. The next individual that you will meet is going to tell you about his life as the average person before he developed MS and how it changed his life throughout the years. Take a look.
My name is Alan Newson. I'm a graduate of MATC. I graduated in the television and video production course in 1999. And I've done work in television at Channel 58 as a floor director, as a studio camera person, and also as a airplay operator, which is a person that runs the tape for the news. The disability I have is MS, and it means multiple sclerosis. It is an autoimmune disease, which means the immune system I have attacks the body, and the areas that it attacks are the central nervous system and the spinal cord. And they call it multiple sclerosis because they call it that because the sclerosis is the scar tissue that develops over what the immune system attacks. There are different degrees of multiple sclerosis. I have relapsing remitting. So far, all it's taken away from me is my ability to walk. And at first I thought it was diabetes because diabetes runs through my family. At the time I was having numbness in both my legs from the calf down. And I thought it was diabetes, so at the time I didn't have any health insurance. So I ended up going to a free clinic. And the doctor there tested my blood sugar, and it ended up being 80. And he told me that maybe I should go find a neurologist and have him order up an MRI for me. So I had to go find a neurologist through this guy that was at the free clinic. So after a month of searching for a neurologist that would take me, I found one, and he got me to get an MRI. And the first, how do I want to put it? I got a call at Channel 18 one day while I was editing. You have a phone call, it's your doctor. Okay. The doctor stated that he found something in an MRI and he didn't want to share it over the phone with me. And you know, stuff like that just makes you want to know what it is, and it just makes you crazy just thinking about, okay, what did you find out, or what did you see, or whatever. And he told me that he found, or there was a growth that could be brain cancer. And at the time, it just, you know, it was one of those things that just kicks you in the stomach. Oh my God, I have brain cancer. And at the time, the neurologist suggested that I should have a biopsy done, which would means they would have had to drill a hole in my head. And around that time, my grandmother who raised us finally passed, and the stress from that and the stress from some other stuff with my other brothers, trying to not raise them, but, you know, look out for them and put them before me, caused me to have my first relapse. And not knowing what it was, I ended up staying at home for about 2 months. And at the time, when I finally went to the neurologist, I wasn't able to walk. So also I was on the second floor of an apartment. So the brother who I live with now, who is now 28, which would have been, he was around 23 or 24, and the other guy that I lived with actually had to manually lift my legs down each stair, and they put me in the car. Ended up going to the emergency room, and that's when they found out that it wasn't a brain tumor, but it was MS. And once again, because I didn't have any health insurance, and since multiple sclerosis is a very expensive drug, I couldn't get any type of medicine that I needed, and the medicine that I did get ended up being the wrong type of medicine. And I was told, when I actually did get health insurance, by my neurologist now, who was very good, Dr. Keintre at St. Luke's. One of his staff members told me that the stuff I was taking could possibly not work for people that are African American descent. So for about 6 months I was taking the wrong drug, and in that 6 months I noticed that it got worse and worse. And now that I'm on the drugs that I'm on now, which are a pretty penny, I'm a lot better, and things are a lot better for me now. My life before MS was like a typical 20-something-year-old person who would go out to the bars and, you know, get drunk at night and, you know, wake up and go to work and do it all over again. Didn't have enough of anything. Wanted to try new experiences in life, and was just up for anything that happened. The disability has affected the way I live my life, because I have to know where the bathrooms are, I have to know where phones are, I have to know where I'm going, I have to know if I need to take the bus there, how I'm going to get home, how am I going to get in this place. If it's a residence, can I get in if this person's on the first floor, and if they are on the first floor, am I able to get in the apartment? Just because they're on the first floor, that doesn't mean they don't have steps going into the place. So stuff like that. My diagnosis with MS has changed me in a positive way, because at the time when I was younger, like I said before, I didn't have enough of anything. I would, go out and drink, get drunk, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, do it all over again, over and over, 5 days a week, twice on Sunday. And at the time, I didn't have a real focus on life, and the diagnosis actually led me to come back here to Channel 10, and I'm a volunteer lab aide here, and I help out with the incoming freshmen, better known as the first years. And so it gives me a lot of fulfillment seeing them flourish and prosper in television like I did when I was younger. Every life experience that I've had from the time that I was born to this moment right now is done for a reason, and whatever reason this is, if somebody's out there that has a disability, you gotta keep living your life. You gotta not let this disability get you down. I know that there are some times that there are things that happen that make you want to stop, like it did with me, where I wanted to end my life a couple times. And I just have to say, keep going. Don't let whatever's hampering you get the best of you.
It's incredible to see people with such a positive and uplifting spirit, especially when they've been through something so devastating. It lets us know that they definitely have a positive outlook on life, no matter what they've been through. They're not going to let certain things in life get the best of them. People like Alan give off great vibes of energy to everyone around them because they seem to take life just as it comes, and they're able to adapt to just about any situation they're given. That's a good example of how you make the best of a situation. The last individual you will meet is going to share with you about his life and what he had to endure while growing up as a kid in the inner city. Something so rare happened to him that it made him appreciate everything in life, and it's formed him into the man he is today. Let's take a look.
Well, my name is Leroy Butler. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I was born in the inner city called the Blodgett Homes, and it was the worst, crime-wise, one of the worst housing projects in the South. And I don't know if it was fortunate or unfortunate, but it just seems like all of these African-American kids were in these projects, and the only way out at the time was crime. And I didn't want to be a statistic. So my life started kind of slow, because I was born with club feet, and essentially I was extremely pigeon-toed. If you ever seen a penguin walk or a bird, you kind of walk, your feet turned in, and at one point they had to literally break them, put them in cast, and I had to wear these hard white shoes, and I had to wear sort of the braces like Forrest Gump, that movie. Tom Hanks was in this movie called Forrest Gump. I had to wear these braces on my legs. And at time, to go to a mall or walk a long period of time, I had to be in a wheelchair. And my sister or brothers had to kind of push me around. So, I was a happy kid, but I just couldn't run and jump like the normal kids could do. I think it really affected me because we lived in the inner city. We had steps. So to get up and down those steps was very, very hard for me. So at some point, my sister had to carry me. Sometimes I had to get on the back of my older brother. And a lot of times I had to go up and down the stairs with the crutches and the braces. And at one point, I was downstairs. I hadn't gone upstairs in, months because I couldn't get up and down. It was just too much for me. But it changed because my family really supported me at that point. So when the kids would pick on me in school, I come home, I had the support of my family. And after a while, they started looking for me. Where's Lord? I thought, where's? I was going up and down by myself because I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. I wanted to be a leader, not a follower. I overcame my disability by wanting to do something more. I wouldn't let people tell me what I can and can't do. I overcame my disability by not settling for the fact that I'll be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. I knew one day the Lord would give me the strength to get out of the wheelchair and do what I wanted to do. I made my mind up at 9 years old that I wanted to play professional football, and nothing was going to stop me. Not a disability, not what somebody was telling me, not where I was from, and not the poverty of that. Nothing was going to stop me. Yeah, you know, I'll tell you a quick story how I got out of the wheelchair. It was prom time for my sister, and you would think talent would be maybe catching a Brett Favre pass with one hand, or beating the Chicago Bears 10 years in a row or something like that, or maybe even doing the Lambeau Leap. But talent was when my sister is running down these stairs that I was talking about earlier. She has on 6-inch heels and she doesn't fall. Now that's real talent. And when she ran down these stairs, she knocked me out of the wheelchair by mistake. And when the wheelchair tipped over, my braces on my leg, they just broke up. And I started standing and walking, and everything was really like a miracle. So my youngest brother's high-fiving, my oldest brother's high-fiving, and we looked over at my sister's date. He was like, oh my God, I'm with this dysfunctional family. I'm late for the prom, and some kids in a wheelchair also walks. This is terrible. But it was a great day in the Butler household, and I'll never forget it. And it just made me understand that the Lord put me in that wheelchair for a reason. He wanted me to see life at a different angle. So when I am able to walk or to run, I can know that helping people is what I'm all about. I think the disability made me concentrate on what was best. And what was best is don't take anything for granted. Just walking, don't take it for granted. Running, jumping, doing all these things, you have to take advantage of it. So it really, really changed my life. I think at one point, if you have a disability, I view them as people are only going to look at you how you want them to look at you. You have to be looked at being a leader, not a follower. You have to be looked at changing things, because a support group is so valuable if you have any kind of disability, even if it's a learning disability. You have to know when to ask for help, you know. So with me, I never, ever, ever felt sorry for myself. It never asked, you know, even the Lord, why me? I didn't do that. So I just look at people with disability as people are going to look at you the way you want them to look at you. So if you want to be a positive person and take care of yourself, then you have to do that. I would not change a thing. I think that being in that wheelchair and braces on my leg and being in the inner city and not having money, and it taught me to be hungry and taught me that people are not going to give you anything. And it taught me to want to be the one person that other kids want to be like. And it taught me that my mom is the real role model, not some guy with the biggest car or the biggest house or the most money. It was my mom who raised 5 kids on her own with no, welfare or nothing. She taught me these things, and I just don't know if I'd have been born in the suburbs, I would have the drive and determination that I have today. And I don't know if I'd be a great person, because a lot of athletes, when you become rich, you have a lot of things, they change a little bit. So my background has taught me that it doesn't matter. You can change zip codes, bank accounts, churches, schools, you can change all of that, but you can't change the person and what you stand for. You know, I advise people to go out and do something to live life to the fullest. You know, don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do anything. Don't let anybody show you that you can't go anywhere. You can do everything that your mind will achieve. So you got to be mentally strong. And if you can do that, you can separate yourself from what people think people with disabilities are supposed to be.
That is something you don't see every day, being born with a disability and later on in life playing for the NFL. That's a story that will inspire anyone with a disability. As you have seen, Frenchie, Alan, and Leroy have endured part of their lives with a disability. However, each of these individuals has not let their disability hinder them. Instead, it has empowered them to make the best of an unexpected situation and start over with a new beginning.